walk amongst us. You've witnessed their performances, you've celebrated their talent and cheered them on throughout the years. But do you know how they got there? Their trials and tribulations, their struggles and hurdles, and their determination, which has led to their success. Welcome to My Art, My Story, a web series brought to you by Arts and Culture Initiative of South Asia, also known as ACISA, where we sit down with your favorite local artists and get to know their story and journey a little better. I'm your host, Amin Dylan, and today I'm sitting down with Mansi Pandya. Mansi, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to meet you.
Oh, I'm super excited to be here today.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so let's get to know you a little bit better today. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Mansi Pandya, and in the music world, I go by the name Melodious Mansi Pandya, which was suggested by my mom. We were trying to think of what to name myself. I didn't want anything too drastically different, so that sounded sweet. And that's kind of the music that I am pulled towards anyway. So, Melodious Mansi Pandya was my music name, but that's what I do on after my 9 to 5. My 9 to 5 is I studied aerospace engineering, so I work in that field, and I work in a company that designs space robotics. So I have
Wow.
yeah, it's quite cool. I like that I have the science part in my day, and then music in the nighttime, weekends. And I started music when I didn't start music when I was young, but I was always interested in it forever. My mom, her mother, her sister, they're all into music. They sing. Unfortunately, they never got a platform to perform on, but there was always music in my house growing up. Even my dad is very interested in listening to music, so we would have CDs playing nonstop in the car and at home. So something about, our Bollywood music from back in the day just resonates with me, and that's where my interest sparked. Lata Mangeshkar, she's my absolute biggest favorite idol and role model. I'm as with many others, she is, right? So that's where it started from. And performing wise, it only started in 2017, 2018 in the GTA. But before that, while I was in school, I would perform for my university Diwali functions. When I first joined, when it was my first year, I somehow got the courage to go up to our Indian association at the university and say, hey, I want to perform for you guys. So luckily, they gave me a chance, and that's how I used the platform to overcome stage fright. And
Oh, you had stage fright.
yeah, I had stage fright, so that's
Which
why
I think is very relatable.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a little nervous, right?
Yeah, you do. Even today, there's always some nervousness, but I'm glad to have had the exposure early on so that I can overcome the stage fright.
Yeah. What's your style? So it's very, I think, classical, very, like Shreya Ghoshal.
Yeah.
That's very much like a sweet classical style, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So because I'm not classically trained, I don't try to attempt anything that's out of my range too much. Obviously, I have to push myself a bit so that I can get better. But I would say semi-classical or more Bollywood, melodious type, romantic songs. I just love them. I get super lost into them.
Yeah.
But because I perform, I really have to expand my, caliber. And because of that, I've always been listening to Sunidhi Chauhan or, Neha Kakkar
Oh my
or
God, you're
Asha
naming
Bhosle
all the
ji.
big ones.
Yeah.
They're all amazing. So.
Oh, they for sure are. Yeah. So I started listening to their music more and trying to, adapt their styles as well, because the audience wants a variety of things. So I had to expand there.
And their songs are not easy to sing, by the way. You
No,
have to
they're
really
not.
have a nice range. So the
Yeah.
fact that you look up to them and perform similar to them, that says a lot. So very important question. You
Yeah.
said you like romantic songs. So
Yeah.
what is the ultimate romantic song that you like to sing?
Ultimate. Oh my gosh, there are so many songs. There's Lata ji's Ye Zindagi Usi Ki Hai.
Oh my God. Yeah. Such a classic.
It's a classic. I guess many people wouldn't consider that timeless romantic.
No,
Actually,
it is.
it is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it is.
I
But
feel like they
it's
still use that in movies and commercials.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite old, but that's one of my favorite songs.
Mhm.
But there's so many from the 90s is like romantic era. So a lot of songs from there are my favorite. It's hard to pick one.
I know.
We have amazing composers, music directors, singers. It's really hard.
Okay, so let's talk about what it's like being an artist here in the GTA and, of course, in Canada. So, what are the perks of being a Canadian artist?
There are a lot of perks. Our South Asian community is humongous here.
Mhm.
And I would say over the past many years, 5, 10 years, the platforms, resources have increased exponentially. So, but you have to have some sort of connection or relation to the music industry to know about them. Or curiosity to, I just guess, know about them. Because when I was younger in university, I had no idea this existed. Yes, I performed in university, but that was once a year, and that was just on my own will. But I had no idea there was a whole industry in Toronto
Mhm.
that can get you so many opportunities. Like, because I've performed in Toronto, I've gotten the chance to perform in Dallas,
Oh,
in
wow.
Houston, yeah, in
International,
America.
love it.
Yeah, I guess North America wise, and there's a lot of artists that do that. So
And because it's a social media world too, you just never know who's watching you as well.
oh
So
yeah,
who knows? Like maybe somebody in Europe is going to be watching you, someone in India, and they might be
100%.
like, you know what, we need to have her here. So there you go.
Yeah, that happened to me a lot during COVID because everything was online. I took all of my content online. I did a lot of live shows on Facebook mainly. And yeah, I had audiences from UK, India reach out to me, even Australia. Um, and I did online shows for them at that time. And if it ever works out, I can hopefully perform for them live
Of
in
course.
person.
So that's the perks of being a Canadian artist. Now, what are some of the challenges?
The challenges, I don't know if it's Canada specific. Music industry is still male oriented, I would say.
Mm.
Though there are many female that have made their mark, especially like if you think about Jonita Gandhi,
Mhm.
Sasha, they're Canadian based, but they're all the way in Bollywood. Even local artist wise, there's many that have made their name, and I'm super happy for them and inspired by them. But it continues to be a male dominated industry. So that is one of the biggest struggles where to get a show, generally the male singer will get the show first and then they hire you, as opposed to you getting a show and then you form your own band. But I think it's changing because of platforms like this, music festivals. I think it's all changing because they give opportunities to everyone and anyone, whether you're a single individual artist or a whole band. So you do get exposure like that. And I think the con is turning into a perk. And I've been fortunate enough to form my own band and get shows of my own, which feels unreal. Seriously, I never thought that would happen within the matter of 2, 3 years. So it's pretty fantastic what social media has done and what the resources in Toronto have done. And it's such a multicultural place. At shows, you see a diverse audience, and that is just, it's a different feeling. That music has no language. Music, you don't need to know, the specific language or type of music to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's such a great point, and I'm glad to hear that it is changing for the better.
Yeah.
Because I know you got to perform at Vibrant Brampton,
Yes.
and I've been part of the festival as well. And I love seeing the audience because it's a diverse
Yeah.
audience. You get people of all different backgrounds that have
Yeah.
come out here, and we play all types of music, but especially the South Asian songs. I love seeing people just grooving.
To
They
them.
don't understand the lyrics, but it's just like you're right. Like music just brings everyone together. So, what was your experience like when you were performing there?
Oh, Vibrant Brampton. Oh, that was fantastic. It was it was the first competition that I've been a part of, and I happened to be one of the winners,
A V Star.
a V-Star winner, and I couldn't have been more thrilled. The support I received from the team, the support I received from the audience while I was participating in the competition, it was just surreal. And then we got to find out that we get to perform at the Vibrant Brampton Music Festival, and it felt like a blessing. It was fantastic performing for the crowd. It's a different feeling performing for a music festival because there's just a different set of audience over there, and it's a different vibe and environment, and it's something that I wish everyone could experience, honestly.
So it sounds like, hey, in terms of performing, you can be in studio performing with your band, or you can be performing live in front of an
Right.
audience. So which one?
Do
Which
I
one do you
prefer?
prefer?
I think live. I used to think that I would be a studio singer
Yeah.
because I like perfection. And in the studio, you can retake, right? And you're also alone, so you don't have distractions and you can focus. I thought I would like that. I do love it. I do YouTube covers and all that on the side. So when I get time, I do make time for that. But the live performances are just something different. Interacting with your audience and trying a lot of different things at once in a 2-3 hour show. You cover a range of items. So that really pushes you, that grows your talent. So I think I really prefer that.
And hopefully we'll see lots of live performances from you this year. Right, we're just getting
Hopefully.
started.
Yeah.
2023. Okay, so now let's look forward. So I know you feel like you're getting started, even though you've accomplished a lot already. But let's say in maybe 5 years, what are some goals for yourself? Where would you like to see yourself?
Where would I like to see myself? Well, at the moment, I do not write music or write any lyrics, but that's why I started lessons so that I could get some basic music knowledge before I could do that. So now that I have 2 years under my belt, it takes a long time, but I think I would like to go towards composing something, even if it's something simple, small, a minute or two. I think that would be my next goal, to be able
Composing
to
music.
compose something. I don't know if I
Okay.
can write still, but composing something
Yeah.
and creating something of my own.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need it to get big but just for my own self. I'm doing music for my own self and my own soul.
Amazing. Okay, I can't let you go without getting a little treat, right? Because I think it's always nice when we get to have a special acoustic performance. So you don't have to sing a long song, but if there's
Yeah.
like your favorite song, just a couple lines, if you could sing it for me.
Okay. Yeah, a couple lines. एक प्यार का नगमा है, मौजों की रवानी है. एक प्यार का नगमा है, मौजों की रवानी है. जिंदगी और कुछ भी नहीं, तेरी मेरी कहानी है. एक प्यार का नगमा है.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're giving me chills. That was so good without any music or
Thank you,
anything.
thank
Oh,
you.
I cannot wait to see you live. So thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you for having me. This has been an absolute pleasure.
And everyone, that was Mansi. I'm your host, Amin Dylan, and today I'm sitting down with Jaicyea. Jaicyea, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm excellent, and I'm glad that I get to meet you for the very first time, and I get to know a little bit more about your story. So let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I was born and raised in Toronto. I have been involved in many different kinds of arts and creative endeavors, but I'm here to talk to you about my dance career.
So you are Toronto born and bred. I love that. So what was that experience like with Toronto and being able to be exposed to dancing?
Yeah, it's been an amazing, beautiful, wild ride. Both of my parents were artists, and I was always just, in that space. And so I was always encouraged to be creative and try new things. And I sparked an interest in Egyptian style belly dance when I was, well, I won't say when it was, but I'll say.
Were you young? Do you remember like feeling like you enjoyed dancing and getting exposed, or was it later?
Yeah, I mean, I had always been involved in dance.
Yeah.
I was always exploring, hip hop and ballet and African dance, and then
Lots of different genres. then.
yeah, for sure. And really just comes from my love for music. Really is where I think my interest in dance began. And so I just sought out different classes, and then when I was really young, I found a belly dance class at the Egyptian Dance Academy, and I pretty much never stopped going until they closed down.
So what was it about that particular genre that just got you hooked?
I think the experience of listening to Arabic music is very otherworldly. It's very it encompasses all different kinds of emotions and states of being, and it's very complex. And I really enjoy the music.
Hmm. Do you feel when you first took, let's say, your first class, was it hard to catch on, or were you just a natural at it?
Well, I took a beginner class, so it was very, designed for newbies.
Hmm.
Um, as you go up in level, it definitely got more intense, and there were times I thought, wow, I'll never be able to do that. And then, a couple years later you are, and then you're trying something new. So always learning and always trying to be better.
Hmm. Now, with your other genres that you're trained in, now how does that play a role with belly dancing? Do you try to like encompass some of those elements and technical skills?
Honestly, I don't, especially now because I dance as a professional. I have to kind of stay in my lane. So I'll take a Vogue class or a ballet conditioning class here
Yeah.
and there just for fun, but it's not my work right now. So, time and resources I have to focus on my genre.
Hmm. So then, what advice would you have for someone who's watching you and is aspiring to be an artist or a belly dancer like you? What advice would you have?
Um I would say keep checking in with yourself and just, asking yourself why you do what you do. I think people do all sorts of things, but people dance for many different reasons, right? People dance for enjoyment, people dance to feed their families, people dance for, I don't know. There's
make
like
a living
million
off of it?
reasons.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
exactly. Yeah, I said to feed families, but
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, to make a living, to make a career. Um, and so I think you have to know why you're doing what you're doing and stay true to that. Like, try not to do things just because, right? Say no to a lot of work sometimes. Like, really establish your independence in it, because I think sometimes that can be hard, like how to discern, what is the right gig to take? Like, is this appropriate? Am I appropriating? Like, all of these questions. Because I think sometimes, if you love something, you can just do it. You don't have to make money off of it, right? You can just, I kind of fell into this, I would say, very organically. It's not like I had a dream of being a belly dancer. I had the good guidance and I had opportunities, and it just became a natural thing.
Mhm.
That being said, I have a full-time job. I have other, endeavors going on in my life. So if something comes across on my table and I don't really want to do it, I can say no and I can refer another dancer, right? And not feel like I've failed or, so yeah, I feel like there's probably a better way I could have summed that up.
Yeah. But knowing what
But I'm
draws
thinking
you,
through it
yeah.
right now.
But also, it sounds like there's a lot you're juggling, and I'm sure there's other people that are in your shoes. So,
Yeah.
how do you juggle everything?
I don't know, girl.
We want to
Sometimes-
know the solution here.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder, but
But I think that's a lot of artists, right? Like, especially, like, I know there's artists that are doing it on the side while having a full-time job. Some of them have turned their passion into a full-time career.
That's right.
But then, the gig life, it's all over the place, right? You're traveling. It's, weekends, evenings.
yeah, and
So
sometimes
how do you
just
juggle?
don't feel like it. Like, sometimes you just don't even want to do it, and it sucks because you've committed to it, like, 6 months ago. I do what I want. I try to just do what I want and not feel pressure from other people. Now, social media pressure, that's a whole other thing. But when it comes to working and certain opportunities, like, no, I have no problem declining. And that took experience, right? That took, like, me having an intuition about a certain gig, going through with it anyway, and then being disappointed in the end, right? So, yeah, just having that discernment to choose your work.
Now, I know you've mentioned this throughout the interview, is you feel like it's a small industry here.
Oh, yeah.
And so, there's challenges with that. But you've been in this game for a while now, sounds like. So do you
Yeah.
feel like the industry is growing, or what can we do to provide a supportive environment so that other dancers like yourself feel like it's a viable career option for them?
Yeah,
Or
that's a
even just
great
getting
question.
opportunities to perform, right? Sometimes, like you said, it's just
Exactly.
passion. So it may not
Exactly.
necessarily be a career, but just they want to be able to perform and, be
Exactly.
able to even dance with artists like you. So how do you feel like that environment is getting better? And if there's something we can do to support it?
Um, I don't know how many dancers right now are looking to do it professionally. I don't get the sense that there's like this uprising of belly dancers on the come up in this particular part of the world. And there's a reason for that. It's Western culture, or it's not like the majority of people are from the ME, Middle Eastern and North African background. So I don't really see that happening. But there was a second part to your question.
Just how can we help support?
How can we help? Yes, great question. So, I mean, pay artists. Just pay your artists what they're worth and what they ask for. I feel like we get a lot of people trying to get us to do things for less than we say, and that in itself can be very discouraging. Because every time we perform, they're amazed and everyone's so happy, and they walk away feeling really, really good about what they've paid for. So trust us, like we know what we're doing. we got you.
Yeah.
And then
and maybe even if you can choose to support your local artists, because I think sometimes you're saying the States has a big scene. People may go, oh, let me get this person from the States, but it's like we've got so much talent in our backyard. Don't be afraid to reach out locally.
Exactly. That's a huge one. Yeah, local for sure. Always start local.
Yeah.
And then go out.
Yeah.
Because there's so much here. And hire belly dancers for your functions. Like I think people sometimes think, oh well, it's this very like sexy thing, and sometimes we perform in a full dress, so it's a very dynamic dance, and I think people should watch our Vibrant Brampton performance and see what we brought to the event and how we approached it. But we do everything from community events to 50th birthdays to I performed at the Aga Khan for New Year's twice in a row.
Wow.
So yeah, things like that, like it's truly amazing, like where it can take you. So if people are more open to hiring us for all kinds of functions, then you'll see us around more.
What role do music festivals play in helping you in your career?
That's a very good question too. I think a festival is great for obviously eyes, for people to see you. A bunch of people will, take pictures and make video, which is really nice. But there's something about like that live moment, you'll never get it back. It's once. So, I think back to certain festivals and it's like that was it. That moment will never happen again.
Yeah.
And it's live, it's present, it's honest, it's and we're all experiencing it together, this large group of people that, don't know each other. And so, music brings people together, and then having that opportunity to perform for a community is so powerful. It's really, really powerful. And it's fun. It's so much fun.
And I also feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but dance, I always say, like, you don't need to be skilled at it. It's just a way of even self-expression, and that there's no right or wrong. So something with belly dancing, I think it's just, you just feel the music, and I think it can be very therapeutic for people as well, just to be able to get moving and to be social and just let loose and lose themselves in the music, right? Yeah. So I know you have your dance school. So if people want to connect with you, reach out to, maybe even have you as a mentor, because it sounds like you've got a lot of experience. Do you find you're mentoring a lot of people now?
Casually. Sometimes my students will ask me questions and I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of see where this is going. I'm stepping into that role that other people
it's
were
really
for me.
important, right? Because you're kind of a pioneer here, trailblazing, and it sounds like a lot of challenges, but then it's kind of nice, like when you open that door for everybody else behind you and say, you too should be able to walk through the door.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if anyone's looking for advice, mentorship, how do we make sure this community gets connected? Best advice for that.
Absolutely. So my organization is called Her Buddha Belly, and I call it an organization because it actually was, it came to be from a grant that I received to engage youth ages, what was it, 9 to 12. And yeah, I got a bunch of little girls in a room and we talked about self-esteem and body image and confidence building and all that good stuff. And we had special guests. So someone like you could come. We actually did have a television host come in and talk to the girls about like how you became a TV host, and then you would join us in a belly dance workshop together.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? So each person was challenged in a new way. And so
Yeah.
I got a grant to do that work, and it was so much fun. I did 2 rounds of that. And then it was from there that I decided, okay, I could do this teaching thing. So it's always been rooted in, empowering women, girls. There are men belly dancers as well, but it's predominantly women.
But like you're mentioning, just the confidence, I think. That's why I say you don't have to be someone that wants to do it professionally.
Right.
I think when you dance, you really learn to just be really confident with your body and your image.
Yeah, and just trust that, you have the ability to move. So, do it and don't judge yourself. Just feel the music. Yeah. So I
Amazing.
love teaching for that reason, because I get to see people, break down those walls of like, oh, I can't to suddenly, oh, I can. And it feels good. So yeah, therapeutic is a great word to describe it.
Great. Well, I hope everybody who's interested reaches out to your organization on Instagram.
Yes, they can reach out to me on Instagram or my website. So it's Her Buddha Belly on Instagram or Jaicyea.com.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this interview. This was really fun.
Thank you. I'm your host, Amin Dillon, and today I'm sitting down with IndToronto. Joining me are 2 members of the group. I have Ashley and Jillian. Hi, ladies. Thanks for being here.
Thank
How
you
are
for
you?
having us. We are well.
Yes.
How are
so
you?
I'm good. But I hear we have a 3rd member that couldn't make it. So introduce your 3rd member.
Miss Kamara Pujram Singh. She couldn't be here at the moment, but we're sending her lots of love.
Lots of love. We've missed you. We'll have you next time. So, ladies, tell us a little bit about yourselves individually. How about you, Ashley? Want to start?
So I've been dancing my entire life, but I've been dancing professionally since 2014 with Miss Jillian here. We do lots of genres: belly dance, soca Latin, samba, Bollywood, whatever you ask. And we kind of all bring our own styles together. We do a lot of fusions, as you guys saw last summer. But it's just a passion of ours, and that's what brings us together.
Okay, so you've been dancing your whole life. What about you, Jillian?
I wouldn't say my whole life, but I've been dancing since I was about 10 years old, so definitely more than half of my life. And my parents put me into Indian classical and Bollywood classes because I couldn't sit down. So that's how I started and fell in love with it. And I also really liked choreographing. So for me, it looked like leading teams at school, taking them to dance competitions, and then pursuing that in post-secondary as well. And then by then, 2014 comes around and I find like-minded people, and we realize we want to continue this. We don't want to stop despite maybe some bad experiences that we've had. But we really wanted to take it into our control, our creative opportunities, and see what we have. And so far, for the last 8 years, it's been amazing. It's been
Wow,
terrific.
8 years. Okay, so first of all, Toronto. How did we come up with this name, and what does it mean?
Yeah, IND stands for independent. It's a nice little short form, and it was something that we just wanted to be simple. So IND, a lot of people call us IND or, indie or something like that. And a lot of people think it does relate maybe to our heritage or something like that, but we were looking for a word that represented us and what we wanted out of dance, and that was to have full control, to have power, to have financial opportunities to do things in a way that we wanted to, and independent really represented that for us, and how we also wanted to live our life and develop personally as well.
That's a very big statement. That's like a great name then for what you stand for. Okay, so I'm gonna get into that because it sounds like there's some stories there about why this is so important to you. But I always like hearing the story of how people come together and decide to form a group. So could you share your story?
Yeah, so Jillian was dancing professionally before me, and I met her through a dance team, and she told me about a company that I should audition for. And through there, that's where we got our experience. We started dancing locally, private events, community events, wedding, birthday parties, anything you name it. And then eventually, through those experiences and being young female dancers, we encountered some challenges. And that's kind of what led us towards IND and what made us independent Caribbean women that are so diverse. We want to support one another, and that's why it's independent IND dance team. Yeah.
Okay, you've mentioned already so many times challenges. So I feel like there's been a lot of struggles before you all came together. So could you share what were these challenges and struggles?
I feel like just general for females, we were put into a box. So we were expected to dance a certain way, look a certain way. Definitely expected to be a little more sexual or more feminine. And that's just not who we are. We have so many talents and techniques, and we don't want to be put in that box. We don't want to just be an item girl, Yeah, there's so much more.
Okay. Do you feel like, especially when we think of dancers, do you feel like it's dominated by women and not so much men? Or do you feel like it's equal, but just women face greater challenges than maybe their male counterparts?
I would say from my experience, it seems to be more male dominated. From the people that I work with, the people that book me, choreographers, they tend to be males. However, the dancers tend to be more female powered. So again, we're just trying to fight past that whole being an item girl and imagery, I'm trying to get ahead of the game, trying to get into those roles, choreographer roles, trying to plug in other dancers. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I've had a great opportunity to see many dance performances, and I see men, I see women, but with the challenges that you were mentioning, I was like, I wonder if men are facing that too, where they feel like they have to be sexy, if they have to be more, I guess, Bollywood-esque item girls. We're seeing it, but
their challenge is that they don't get bookings, so they aren't the dancers, right? They do have the more powerful roles, like they choreograph, they book. But I have talked to, the people that we work with, and they don't get as many bookings as us. It's like a double-edged sword.
That's why we want to support you. Right?
You can't win.
So you're all established dancers, 8 years together. You've been performing. But what role do festivals like Vibrant Brampton play in groups like yourself, or even for other groups that are looking to like get that big break or to like just increase their opportunities? What role do festivals like this play for you?
It's huge. We look forward to our festival season every year. We love that we get the opportunity to create our own numbers. It tends to be pieces that we've loved and that we've made throughout the winter or the spring. And we really have that freedom to put whatever we want on the stage. And I love seeing the feedback. It's live. It's not a music video. You get to see it in person. I love festival season, yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's so engaging. It's so refreshing. It's not a space that we have to be perfect. It's a space that we get to come and, you said, educate, but share, but have fun, and getting people to listen to chutney music is probably one of my favorite things to see, right? And then to see soca music coming on at this Vibrant Brampton Festival is it's so surprising, but no one gets a chance to refine how they look or how they react. Everyone's just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Whoa, did they really do that? Okay, good responses or bad responses, we're challenging an idea or an assumption that they've had because they just expect maybe, what they've seen for so long. So then we did that costume change, right? We did Bollywood, and then we moved into chutney dance, which is an Indo-Caribbean style, and then we had a little break and we changed and we did soca at the end, right? And so that's just a proud moment for us, right? It's already a genre that's rooted in joy and resistance and celebration and so many things. And you know, to see people like us on stage, you know, that's our culture, right? That's our culture. That's we've been influenced by Afro-Caribbean culture growing up, at least, you know, in my household, definitely. Even as having Indian born or Indian ancestors, right? That Caribbean culture has influenced my entire life, right? And so with that, it's like sharing that, getting to share that with people who may have never heard that music before, or may have not known that Indians were taken over to the Caribbean, right? And like that moment is like, it's priceless.
Yeah, and like you were saying, it's such a great platform that, you know, your ancestors didn't get that opportunity to showcase their culture or educate people on what makes them different, what makes them unique. So you're getting that opportunity, and now other women like you, other folks, children are going to be looking at you and being like, you know what, I identify from that culture and I want to learn more. I'm glad that people understand when I say this is who I am, this is what I'm about. So it's very, very cool. And now, ladies, I want to know, 8 years together, you've done a lot. Let's look forward to the next 8 years. Are there goals that we have that you would like to share? Where would you like to see yourself?
Well, we're not done performing.
Of course not. But you're always growing. You're always, you know, setting
always
milestones
growing.
and goals. So what are the next goals?
So eventually we do want to open up our studio. We are paving the way. We want to inspire other children, males, female, everyone. We want to show them our culture. There's not many studios that are of Indo-Caribbean backgrounds that provide soca, chutney, even dancehall, you know, Bollywood. So we would love to create a space. We would love to create a space for that.
Okay, so a studio. Any other goals?
Yeah. I think with that comes so many other opportunities, right? It's maintaining what we've done so far, which is being independent, managing ourselves, taking on opportunities that we see fit. You know, sometimes it could look like traveling and performing, maybe developing programs, and that's something I'm just dipping my toes into right now, is developing community programs and school programs that can, you know, we could tackle that demographic that we are really trying to make a big change for, and that's youth, right? And everyone talks about all these programs for young kids or even newcomer adults, and with everything happening these days, especially working in a high school, knowing that I see every day that there's not enough support, there's not enough cultural celebration, there's not enough cultural pride, right? The way that we were taught to have it, and hopefully having studios means we get to provide programs and spaces for those youth to be there as well, and teaching people that dance is life, right? And it's a way to navigate life, and so that's the fun part, because you teach so much more than just a dance step, right? Like if I'm just out here to teach some dance steps, you know, I might not take it as seriously as I do right now, right? But I don't think that is what it is for us. I think it's so much bigger than that in terms of respect and relationships and self-growth and a lot of other things that are more important to teach, but we use dance as that tool.
I like that. Dance is life. That's a great way to end this interview. So, ladies, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us. We look forward to seeing you as part of Vibrant Brampton in the future, and obviously see you across the GTA. If people want to check you out, do you want to? Because you do lessons.
Check us out at IndToronto on any social media platform and at indtoronto.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm your host, Daman Dillon, and today I'm getting to know the singer, Shaan. Shaan, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm great, Amin. It's great meeting you after a long time, and it's such a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me here tonight.
Yes, I'm excited because the very first time I got to experience you live in action and
Right.
serenading all of us was at V-Star, which is, of course, our talent hunt competition. So
That's
it's
right.
nice to be reunited.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's actually then get to know you a bit better. So I know you for your amazing voice, which don't worry, we're gonna make sure everybody gets a little preview into your amazing voice. Side note, it's very romantic, very romantic. Do you find that's your style, that you're a romantic style of singer?
I would like to believe that because unless you serenade somebody with your voice, there's no point being having a good voice. So yeah, I think I'm a romantic singer more. Yes, I'd like to guess that I'm a romantic singer.
Yes, of course. And Valentine's Day is coming up very, very
Very
soon.
soon,
So,
yeah.
but let's go back. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in a small town in India, and singing came very naturally because my mother is a very gifted singer.
Oh, nice.
She's a classically trained singer, but unfortunately, I haven't learned any classical singing. So it's just Bollywood that I sing. Yeah, I guess it just came naturally to me in the DNA. So yes, from school time I started singing, and I sang all throughout the globe. In Dubai is a place where actually it catapulted me to a position where I thought I can be a good singer. So yes, continuing from there, I came to Toronto, and I'm continuing my journey as a singer and an entrepreneur.
So let's go back. So you go to Dubai for work. So
Yes.
what were you working in before?
So in Dubai, I was working as an insurance consultant.
Okay.
Uh, Not that I liked my job too much, but because I had a very active social life, so I always used to look forward to that life where people would always call me invite me for singing, for my theater. I'm a theater artist as well. So I used to look forward for that, and the professional life took a little bit of backstage, and my singing life became more prominent in my life in those 20 years.
But your big break, you feel like, was in Dubai when you were
Yes.
able to professionally sing. So tell me about doing that crossover. So you're performing before in college, you're performing with your family at home, family functions.
Right.
You moved to Dubai for work.
That's right.
And now, how do you get that first big opportunity to professionally sing?
Yes. So in school and colleges, it was more of casual performances. As I told you, I used to sing on those important days, and nothing. Yeah, I did some radio jingles as well. But when I went to Dubai, I got noticed, and I started liking my newfound adulation. And yes,
But how did you get noticed? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you have been an amazing singer. You're getting us so many opportunities, but just getting that first sort of like, hey, we're going to pay you to perform at a show. How
Right.
do you get to that point?
yeah. So luckily, I became a part of the community out there. It's all community-based people out there. So Dubai being a small place, and there's a lot of active participation between Indian expats out there. So the moment I gave my first performance, which was I guess in the Indian embassy in Dubai, the consul general were there, the important people, the more prominent people were there. So they all liked my voice, and I became this overnight kind of sensation out there. And then they started calling me for all these Independence Day programs and 26 January programs, and then the normal Bollywood shows that happens very, very prominently in Dubai, since Dubai is full of these social activities happening out there every weekend. So I became a very important part of that life, and together with my partner, we started doing a lot of shows in and around Dubai and in the Middle Eastern countries. So that's how I think I rose to fame, and I started liking my life more than before.
So you're in insurance,
Yeah.
you start singing, and then you actually start even making your own shows.
That's right.
So
yes.
you're very much involved. So what was it like juggling all of that?
It came easy. I mean, because when singing becomes your passion, it doesn't feel like a job for you. So we used to sing the entire night, and then the next morning I'll be back at my office on time, thinking of the show that I had happened the last night. And so it was always very, very. I was always very pepped up about the entire thing. So in the morning I used to do my job very sincerely as much as I could, and in the evening I used to have these shows. So it was a very busy life for me for almost 20 years there, and I think I managed quite well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like it was a great time. So, but then you decided to shake things up
Right.
and move to Toronto. So tell me about that decision. What led you here?
Yes, so Toronto happened because my wife, she's a Canadian passport holder. So we were always talking about making the switch to Canada, since Dubai, as you know, as long as you have a professional obligation, you can be there. the visa thing. But we were looking forward to have an end place where we can settle down and have call it our own country, and probably make it big out there. So in 2019 in November we made a switch to Toronto. We came here, but as luck would have had it, we had COVID struck that time after 3 months, so everything got stalled. It was a pretty sordid affair for 1.5 years in Canada. So we were like completely shut off, and I was absolutely frustrated that we were not able to meet people, not have any music. But fortunately, everything opened up last year, and now again things are back to normal, and I've been performing after that.
Tell me about like the most interesting performance you've ever had, because I think as an artist, it's one thing to enjoy singing, but then you have to be a live performer, right?
Correct.
And so, obviously you've been in so many different places. What's like maybe the craziest story that you have?
There have been so many innumerable instances I can mention to you, but one instance that stands out is when I sang a song of Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie.
Lionel
Ooh,
Richie,
so not Bollywood. Okay.
who's my like childhood favorite. So he had come down to witness a performance of ours in Dubai. We were performing in a huge villa where very special guests were there, including the Consulate General of India. And he was there. Lo and behold, he just walked in with his partner, and we were singing. So I was absolutely excited to see him. And he was such a humble person. He just came right next to us, and just stood there throughout our performances. So when I requested him to sing his song, "Hello," which is my all-time favorite, he said, "I'm a little drunk, buddy. So I think if you sing that song for me, that'll be nice." So I sang his song in front of him. That gives me still goosebumps, because after that he gave me a big hug, and it was absolutely fantastic evening. So I can't forget that evening, actually.
Yeah, what an incredible experience, because like
Yeah.
you sing these songs and you never imagined that you would sing
In
for the
front of
actual
people.
artist.
Oh yes, it was just incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those moments which I will always cherish my entire life.
of course.
And then there were artists like Asha Bhosle, if you know about her. She's like a queen of Bollywood in singing. I sang in front of her songs in a couple of places, because she has a restaurant in Dubai called Asha's. So I used to go there frequently, and I met her a couple of times, and we sang. We almost had about half an hour, 45 minutes of rendezvous time with her. So she was very impressed with my singing. So I've sang with her as well. And then I sang with Kumar Shanu, those Bollywood singers in Dubai.
Wow.
So we had a fairly, very, very, a roller coaster ride in Dubai, you would say.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so then, I mean, maybe you've already done this, but is there one performer that you were just dying to perform for? Or maybe you've already done it?
My all-time favorite singer is, if you have known his name, Kishore Kumar.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he's not there in this world, because I grew up listening to his songs, trying to model my singing on his name, trying to replicate his voice. And till today, it's been 40 years I've been listening to him, and I just go crazy hearing every song of his. My car radio stereos are full of his songs. Every time I go out, I listen to only his songs. I wish I would have met him somewhere and sang in front of him, but that was not to be there. So I'm very happy whatever life has given me so far, singing in front of the new artist. So I sang with, there's a lady called Kaushiki of India. She's a classical singer. I was there with her in her performances. I sang with quite a few Bengali artists from India who are very famous. So no regrets so far, and I just look forward to spread music all through my life and try to give happiness as much as I can.
Yeah, no, that's a good philosophy. Okay, so I feel like for the viewers, you've named so many big names that people are like, oh my God, I love their music too. So
Right.
I think before we proceed further, we should get a little taste. So I'm actually curious now, because you said you sung the song Hello.
Yes.
I'm like, that's such a classic. And I would not think a Bollywood singer would be into that song. So I kind of feel like I want to get a little taste of this.
Let's go, yeah. Let's have it for
Okay.
you. Okay. So a few lines from that song.
Yes.
I long to see the sunlight in your hair and tell you time and time again how much I care. Sometimes I feel my heart will overflow. Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your smile. You're all I've ever wanted, and my arms are open wide. Tell me how to win your heart, for I haven't got a clue. But let me start by saying, I love you.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Thank you, Abhay. Thank you
That's
very much.
amazing. I like the fact that you're able to be so diverse with your performance level, right? You can do Bollywood, you can do more modern, you can do a little bit of the old school, and then now you've got the English songs.
Yeah, now that I'm in Canada, I think because it's a fairly mixed kind of community, so we need to know English numbers. So I have a lot of things on those kitties. I sing, but my time songs. I don't sing the new ones as much because I don't understand the new music. It doesn't go in my soul. So I sing a lot of 70s and 80s songs.
Okay.
English numbers, yes.
The best era.
The best era, of course.
Of course. Okay, so I need to make sure that before I let you go, that we actually give our viewers an opportunity to experience what made you famous in the first place, which was your Bollywood singing. So
That's
I
right.
told you when I saw you last time, you did a medley, but where you really got me going, like, was the romantic
thank you
song.
so much,
Maybe there could be a Bollywood song
Oh,
that you
sure.
would like to sing that maybe could set the mood for all the lovers.
Absolutely. So Bollywood is absolutely close to my heart. So the first song which I always sing invariably when I open a show is this one, which I feel is one of my favorite numbers. So it goes like this. हमें और जीने की चाहत न होती, हमें और जीने की चाहत न होती, अगर तुम न होते, अगर तुम न होते, हमें और जीने की चाहत न होती, अगर तुम न होते, अगर तुम न होते.
There you have it, that voice. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on
It's
the
an
show.
absolute pleasure talking to you and trying to express all that I have for so many years. It's been a pleasure talking to you, absolutely. Thank you for having me out here, really.
That was amazing getting to know some of your favorite local artists and their individual journeys. I hope you feel like you got to know them a little bit better in this episode of My Art, My Story. Now, a big thank you to all of our partners and sponsor, because without their generous support, none of this would be possible. So a big thank you to our main project funder of My Art, My Story, Canada Council for the Arts. A special thanks to all of our media partners, including Metroland Media Group, ATN, and Canadian Immigrant Magazine. A big thank you to our community partners, Downtown Brampton BIA, Brampton Library, Visual Arts Mississauga, Mississauga Music, the Peel Art Gallery Museum and Archives, Visual Arts Brampton, Brampton Arts Coalition Committee, Bose Arts Gallery, Peel Police, Stop Diabetes Foundation, Courtyard by Mary Brampton, and Bombay Bale Mississauga. And a big thank you to all of you for tuning into this episode. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode of My Art, My Story, the journey behind the art. We'll see you next time.